record from this point. We're going to record now. Although I'm, 15 minutes into the whole thing. But a quick recap. So we pulled some cards. Grandmother Earth, Spirit Keeper of the East, which is now blurry. It's there, I swear. And Shapeshifter. So these three cards together are grounding and rooting ourselves and finding ways to get a firm foundation before our growth can start to take place. It really doesn't want to see that one card. Before our growth can start to take place and transformation really kick in. So we were just talking about, well, Grandmother Earth and how it helps us to ground, and what the different kinds of things of grounding are and why grounding is so essential. And grounding, to really kind of summarize it real quick, because you guys have already been watching and now I'm on recording. It is the bringing ourselves back into our body, right? It is nurturing our body. It is making sure that the changes that we want actually fit into our life itself. We may need to change things in our lives, right? We might need to start thinking about finances and thinking about our bodies and thinking about our relationships and thinking about all these different things. And that's what this Grandmother Earth brings us down into, the basics, the foundation, and all of the things that we need to do to support that before we can really start transforming and growing and doing other things. So we try not to so like the people pleasing, right? That's one of the results of not grounding. Sorry, I lost my whole train of thought since I forgot to record. Getting it.
I'm in a meeting. What's up?
So anyway, so then we tend to people please. We over explain. We say yes. We just, we get defensive, shut down, all those different things, because we're not grounded in our body. We're not grounded in our thoughts. We're not confident. We're still dealing with issues that we may not have looked into, may not have tried to heal. And so that's what this card is all about. The Grandmother Earth is all about getting to those basics, digging deeper, and finding out why we do the things that we do, right? So that is the beginning steps of being able to have some kind of transformation in your life. So we can start to think about like where our roots still need care, right? Is it our body? Is it our home? Is it money? Is it boundaries, emotional support, right? All these different things all add up. And we need to decide what things need to change in some of those aspects. We may be great. Maybe you got no problem with money, but your emotional support, you don't have any either, right? Like you got no emotional support from people around you. So you might need to try to find some more emotional support for times when it gets a little bit tough, right? So you may not have to overhaul your entire life, but there may be things that you need to work on to get that foundation ready, right? It may be the way that you keep trying to hold everything together, like with like duct tape, right? Like everything is so chaotic in my life, I'm just going to duct tape it together and hope it'll be okay. And if that's the case, then we need to kind of break it down into the individual pieces and start building those pieces and fixing them so that they can all hold together without having, bubblegum and banding wire, as my father used to say. So, but you don't have to fix it all at one time either. And that's really important because the small changes stick. Those big, massive, I'm going to overhaul everything. That's when things get dicey. So once we kind of look at those roots and the foundation of our life, then we can decide what's weak and what needs to be worked on. So then we can move into the Spirit Keeper of the East energy. So it's the sunrise. It's the energy of the beginning of the day, the beginning of a new cycle, right? The first light coming over the horizon. I love that it came out in the deck right after Grandmother Earth, because it really is in the succession of how things go. A lot of people say that they want a new beginning, but they really don't know what direction they're facing, right? I want something new, but I don't know what it is. Um, we know what we're tired of, what we're done with, or what hurts before we know how to fix that or what direction we want to go in to fix it, right? So the spirit keeper of the East says, okay, so now where are you going? Right? Let's look at it. You don't need the entire map. You just need to know the destination and how to get there. So every detail that you can figure out along the way is another step. But you don't need to have all the details, all the steps planned out. You just need to know where you're headed. And then you can take life as it comes and you can prepare yourself. You know, you might have to wind a little bit on your journey to get around certain things, but if you know the general direction you're going, then you're okay, right? So looking forward to a destination, it can be really exciting, right? But also it can be a little terrifying when you start to think about what's in between, all those little things you may have to curve around. But sometimes you can kind of sit there and go, I feel like I'm going into a whole new life, right? It's wow, this is great. And then I just want to take off running, and that's cool. But we have to remember the foundation, right? And the pieces. And once we get going on this journey, now we're going to stumble over things that are in our way. And a lot of that is like old feelings that come together, or dealing with your old self that knows how to deal with certain patterns coming at it, right? Like, oh, this pattern is happening. I'm going to go into survival mode now. And you forget about where you're going. So that's what the shadow work and digging deeper helps with. Because once you heal those little pieces, then your survival mode doesn't kick in quite so strongly and you don't go into fight or flight mode. You can start to feel your way into how to get around those obstacles. So, so when we start to think about the forgot the name of it already, Spirit Keeper of the East card, um, this is like new ways of communicating, or new boundaries, or maybe a new relationship with your body, right? Or it can be like a creative idea, a new business idea, spiritual practices, right? Maybe it's just letting yourself be seen more. Um, it for some of us, it meant, for me, it did meant living alone. That was a big ordeal. I never lived alone before. I wanted to. I didn't know how, right? I kind of went back and forth on that. Um, Sometimes it's just going out somewhere on the town by yourself. Sometimes it's traveling by yourself, right? A lot of things of this new energy is stuff that maybe you never did before, or you did it and it backfired, and whew, survival kicks in and says, man, we can't do that anymore, right? But it's not necessarily true because every situation is different. So the first thing you can do is start thinking about new beginnings. Like, I'm going to stop talking to myself like I'm the enemy, right? So that is a great new beginning. Sometimes the most sacred of new beginnings is that moment that we stop treating our own needs like they're inconvenience. Most people who are treating themselves that way were treated that way, and that's what we learned, that we are inconvenient, that our thoughts, needs, wants, opinions were inconvenient for other people, right? So now we have to rewrite that script that runs through our mind to realize that we are not inconvenient. We have needs. It's okay to want things. It's okay to have opinions. It's okay to have a voice. and let it be known. And you can do it in a kind way. You can let your voice be heard without being a bitch or screaming at the top of your lungs, right? We don't have to be mean to be outspoken. And I think a lot of times those things are confused. Um, so this card asks us to find a direction, right? That direction, you don't have to make it totally crazy or totally beautiful or whatever, but start in a direction. I want to stop talking to myself that like I'm the enemy, right? That's a perfect direction. Or whatever your direction is. Just be honest about what it is, and then you can start walking toward it, right? Sometimes we don't know what direction to go in. And so we can just start thinking about the different things that we don't want. What are the things that we don't want to feel anymore? And start just work with those. And then you'll start to see step by step little ways to take care of those things and to accomplish what it is that you want. But you have to have that direction, right? Um, we can look at our lives and see what mistakes do I keep coming back to? What decisions do I keep making? And most of us know what these are that lead us down these paths over and over again, right? You do them a couple times and then you're like, I know what my problem is. I know, I just don't know how to stop. Right? So we end up looking at the whole big picture and thinking to get from here to here, I have to do everything different. And that's not the case, right? We just do one little step at a time. Get clear about where you want to be, get clear about the direction that you're heading in, and take little steps toward that. Those sustainable steps, or little steps, are more sustainable than giant leaps and running forward. So, really, the question could be, what is one small action that would honor that direction this week, right? That could be your only thing. What is one small thing that I can do this week that would head me in that direction? Um, a lot of us kind of sabotage ourselves because we think a new beginning has to come with giant announcements, dramatic overhauls, right? We tell everybody all the things we're going to do, and then we feel ridiculous when we don't do all those things, and then we quit completely, right? Just sit down and have a little 5-minute conversation with yourself. Make a decision to pause before answering a question, or clean one drawer, or write one page if that's what you want to do, right? Whatever it is, just start with a little small task. I took a walk today. I sent one message. I practiced one boundary, or even I created a boundary. And now I have to deliver the script for the boundary to the person, right? But I created it. Today I decided what I want. And then now I have to deliver it. That's still progress. You decided what you wanted, right? Um, maybe you want to decide to, take the class. That could be a beginning. All you got to do is decide that's your first step. Look into it. Where do the classes exist? Okay. Then sign up for the class, right? It's all little steps. They all lead together to one final outcome. Um, that's probably hounded enough. Let's talk about this shapeshifter card. This is where the whole lesson deepens. Because once we're grounded, Grandmother Earth, and once we choose a direction, Spirit Keeper of the East, then we have to let ourselves become the person who can actually live this new season. That's the part that a lot of people skip. They burn out before they get to it, right? Or they just totally ignore the fact that I have to let it come to me. We try to keep the old identity and force it to carry out some kind of a new life. Um, the old identity was built around survival, right? We were the helper or the fixer or the strong one or the one who doesn't need much or the one who keeps the peace, one who handles everything, right? Or maybe the quiet one or the one that over explains. Um, or the one that just quietly sits in the corner expecting to be disappointed all the time. And then we think to ourselves, this is just how I am. I can't think of how many times I've heard people say, well, it's just how I am, right? They've resigned themselves to being whatever label has been put on them. This is just how I am. But that shapeshifter card asks us to loosen our grip on that old label and allow yourself to shift into your new reality. So now you've laid the groundwork, right? You've picked a direction. But if you don't allow yourself to change the script in your mind, you're not going to be able to transform. So, which course is it? Now I can't remember. It's one of the courses in the classroom. There is the story of Cary Grant, and that is the perfect shape shifting story. Because he was kind of awkward and thin, and he had like this really accent, hard accent to understand when he came to America and wanted to be a Hollywood star. Right? People were like, "Man, you're all gangly. You're not that good looking. You have this weird accent. You're not very charming. We don't know what to do with you, and we can't make you a star." So then he said, "I need to change who I am." And he didn't change who he was, right? Who he was somebody who brought this passion to his career. It's who he wanted to be. But what everyone was seeing was the person that he had been convinced that he was. So he changed his whole mindset. He changed his name. He changed everything about him. And then he became Cary Grant, the famous debonair movie star, right? And obviously it wasn't just overnight, right? But all these different changes that he made brought him the life that he wanted because he changed his mindset. And that's what we're asking here for this shapeshifter card, right? When an old survival pattern has been with us for a very long time, it can feel like it's our personality. But it's really just habit. It's our practice. It's what we've gotten used to. But that means that we can practice something else, right? You don't have to fake a whole new personality. But this shapeshifter card is saying to experiment with a new way of being. That little changes, little things going on in your mindset. I remember when I quit smoking for the first time. It did take me a couple of times, but that first time I quit smoking, my doctor said to me as I walked out of his office, "You are now a non-smoker." And when I heard that, I thought, I'm a non-smoker. And I carried that with me. And it made quitting smoking so much easier, right? Because when I was going through withdrawals, I was like, but I'm a non-smoker, so this withdrawal is silly. And it just really helped. It was a whole mindset change. So it showed to me, it proved to me that that can be done, right? It's our mindset. It's our shift in our personality. It's our shift in our brain and how we think about things. So you can start this in small little things, right? Like you may not be like, I'm a totally confident person now. And then all of a sudden you're totally confident. But you can start with today, I'm practicing being someone who speaks clearly, right? That is one of the confident things. So I can speak clearly today. And then tomorrow I can do a little bit more, right? And I can do a little bit more. And it's those steps. Take those steps towards your goal. So Instead of saying I have to heal everything about my life before I go forward, you can simply say, today I'm practicing being someone who takes one honest step, right? Um, Today I'm practicing being someone who pauses before they say yes. Or today I'm practicing being someone who listens to that first little nudge from our body, right? I do this all the time. I'm so involved in what I'm doing, I don't hear my body screaming at me, hey, stand up, or hey, whatever, right? Um, so that is actually my affirmations that I've been working on lately is I'm going to listen to the little nudges from my body so that I can start to pay more attention to that again. Um, so it's kind of an important thing for your brain and your nervous system, right? To kind of get together because your body's screaming and your nervous system's going, oh my God, she's not going to listen. And your brain is off doing other things. So you really want to kind of focus it, bring it back in multiple times a day um, to kind of align you with what it is that you want to attract in, right? Or where you're headed. So if you've been abandoning yourself for years, I mean, it makes sense that choosing yourself might feel awkward at first, right? Excuse me. Um, a lot of us, I've noticed here, are hyper responsible, as in, I have to get everything done. Super productive all the time. I have to prove my worth through the things that I get done. And it's okay to rest. And that is a common theme with you guys out there. A lot of you. Um, Feeling guilty for resting, and your body needs rest. Like physically, you need rest. So it's okay. You don't want to be laying around 24/7, but yeah, you need to heal. You need to rest. If you've been practicing like being small, right? Being visible might feel unsafe, but you can be visible in little ways and you can open up a little bit more and more. Everything begins as a practice and then can become habit. Um, Boundaries is another thing that is a good theme in this group. Um, a lot of people feel selfish when they say no, or they feel selfish when they're asking someone for help. Selfish is, I went on a rant today about selfish, but that's besides the point. We have been programmed from childhood, most of us, that our needs are not important and it is selfish to want certain things. Whatever those certain things are, it doesn't even really matter, right? You want anything and it's just selfish. So starting to stand up for yourself might feel strange. It might make you kind of, nervous. It might make you stutter. It may make your voice shake. It might, make you a little bit afraid, but you can start doing that with safe people, expanding it a little bit more and more. Even with your unsafe people, you can do it slowly and just kind of, push the boundaries. If you're super unsafe people, then we got a whole nother discussion. Contact me. We'll get to that. But um, anyway, the point is these things might feel strange, but you'll get used to it. It's kind of where I'm going with this, right? Um, we need to think about what that new version of you is that's trying to come through. Uh, and this is where you can get some really good information, right? When you talk to yourself and ask yourself, what is trying to come through? What do I want to do? Who do I want to be? Who do I want to go back to being? And that right there really is the key, is who do I want to go back to being? Remember that kid that you were when you were young before the world told you you couldn't? Whatever it was, that kid is who we're all trying to get back to be. That is our core personality, that excitement, that passion for life, that wanting to learn, that curiosity, all that stuff, right, is what we're trying to get back to. That is who you really are, not who the world told you you needed to be. So as we're going through and we're finding these things, we're going to see the old versions of ourselves pop up all the time. You know, maybe the old version of you was somebody who waited for permission, right? Somebody, you had to wait for somebody to tell you it was okay to do something. Or maybe it was that you were going to be rejected, right? That's who I am. I'm just going to be rejected. Nobody likes me. Everybody hates me. I think I'll eat some worms, whatever it was. I can't remember that's the old saying, but you know, like, that's who the old person was, and that old person will keep trying to come back, but it will get weaker and weaker, and eventually you'll be able to drown that out if we keep heading in the right direction. And that right direction is the direction where you want to be, the one that's in your soul. So shape shifting, yeah. Really, at this point, you know, I've gone through all the stuff, right? You're going to do it a little at a time. You're going to get your foundation settled. You're going to head in a direction, find out what the direction is that you want, and then make little tiny steps towards that, right? So now we're just going to integrate it into our being. So to kind of go over this again, right? So you want to say, what do I need to feel more supported right now? That's that foundation, right? It might be rest. It might be better food. It might be less chaos. I don't know, stronger boundaries, more quiet or more movement or less screen time or more honesty, whatever it is, right? That's your base. That's what I need. That's my root. The direction is what is beginning to call me. And if you settle in and find your root, you'll start to hear it or feel it. What calls me? What do I enjoy doing? What are some of the things that I enjoy? Now, until you get your root and your foundation solid, you may not know. You may not have any idea. And that's okay, because it just means you need to heal a little bit more before you set your sights out there. Okay. But it will come, and then you'll start being called. And maybe it's just something quiet, like, you know, I kind of want to get back into drawing. I used to draw when I was a kid, right? I like to doodle on paper, whatever. Start doing those things that start calling you. Start getting creative. Get a little bit confidence, right? Or maybe it's a business idea, or maybe it's a relationship change, or just a shift. It doesn't even have to be a whole give up the relationship. Sometimes it can just be like, hey, you know what? I know I've been letting you believe that this is okay for the past 20 years, but it's really not. And now I feel safe, and I feel like I need to say it. And hopefully the one that you're in a relationship with will respond nicely to that, and you know, you can kind of work it out, right? So it doesn't mean like, I have to give up everything. I have to give up the entire relationship. It just means I need to maybe stand up for myself a little bit more. I need to be more vocal. I need to, you know, establish boundaries more. I need to kind of come out of my shell and say, I do have an opinion on this. Um, Maybe this is like, you know, the new relationship with your body. Whatever it is, that's what that direction is about. And then the shape shifting part is, who do I want to become? That one goes along with that whole direction, right? You're heading in that direction. So, um, so basically, I guess what I want to say for the most part is that we don't have to make massive changes, right? I know the world pushes us to be something, do something. It's a constant battle with the media and everything else saying you're not enough, you're not enough, you're not enough. So buy this other thing, and look this certain way, and do these certain things, and then maybe someday you'll be enough, but you won't be enough because we're going to keep telling you you're not enough, right? So just wipe all that away. Just wipe it all away and get quiet, ground in, think about you, who you are, who you want to be, and let that grow. It's okay. Whatever you really in your core want to be is okay. And don't let other people run you off the rails and tell you it's not. That's pretty much it. Any thoughts? Any questions? Any what the hell's you talking about? Anybody? Okay.
No, this makes sense.
Okay.
I was just listening to you in silence or not on video. But anyway, you do have to have a good foundation and give yourself grace when things aren't going well and get back to focusing on just one thing and then get at another thing, and keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. And compassion for yourself, right? There's a lot
Yeah.
of compassion for ourselves that we don't that many times it can kind of trip us up, right?
Mhm.
Compassion for ourselves and for others. There's it's just a whole great big load of compassion all around, right? Like I forgive myself for the little mistakes I made and I forgive others for the little mistakes they make as well, right? And then it if we can keep ourselves from being angry all the time, either at ourselves or other people, then that kind of brings things down and makes it easier to concentrate, right? Yeah.
Right. Because negativity is only going to attract more bad things.
Mhm.
So focus on the good things and be grateful for what is good happening.
Yeah.
There's other people having worse lives than we are.
True. True. And even if we had a super crappy life, right? Is it happening right now? Probably not. If it is, what can you do to change it and get out of there, right? Um,
Mhm.
I think where the problem is when we get stuck in this is what it is. This is who I am. This is what my life is. This is all it's going to be, right? And that's where things just remain in that horrible place. Um, Once we get a taste of, hey, this can be better, it helps to really instill it in our minds that yeah, it really can, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Any other thoughts, questions? Nope.
I don't know how to put that up. I like to listen to what you say because what I'm working on it's basically in French.
Hmm.
So I like to listen to you because it helped me to put words in English on it.
Right.
And I'm a very technical guy, so yeah, you got it better than because if I try to explain this, people will get lost because I got so many technical languages into it, and
Yes.
you're flowing, you your word is flowing better than mine because well, English is your first language first, so yeah, I like to listen to it just because of that.
All right. All right. Cool. How you doing, Morgan?
Ah,
Still great.
Come on, Morgan.
Oh, anyway. Well,
I mean, I
Morgan.
stay angry with myself, so
Okay.
that's where I'm at. Just
I get it.
I
Yeah.
don't. I'm good.
Okay. Well, I think I think Morgan's life is actually starting to head towards the person she wants to be, but it's hard for her to see it sometimes. Um, there has been a lot of changes in her life overall in the way she is. and responds to it. But there has been a lot of changes in her life, and that's, bothersome sometimes. So, anyway, well, all right then. That's all I have for tonight. So I have the crystal show here in a little bit. I got to get some crystals together for that. But
Oh, so I accidentally lied to Charlie.
oh, you didn't think it was
That
tonight?
was next week. Yeah.
Well, we won't tell her. So, right, yeah, 6:30. Oh well, 40 minutes from now, we will be on the live show. I don't have a bunch of crystals for tonight. I have some new ones, but I don't have a lot. It's not going to be a hugely long show like it has been. So, but I'm tired. So, I'm gonna
It's Friday.
Friday, and like I said, it's
Have
been
a break.
So what?
So take a break.
I will. I'm going to take a break for the next 40 minutes. Then I'm going to come back for the crystal show, and we're not going over an hour this time, just not. So, and then I'm going to take a break. So you guys have a good night.
Have a great night. Thank you.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.